Echoes of defiance, the diplomatic spark. The diplomatic shuttle cut through the starlit void, its sleek silhouette a testament to humanity's emerging technological prowess. Dr. Elena Rodriguez sat motionless, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display mapping their approach to the Zarkon Central Station. Her olive skin reflected the soft blue light of the navigation systems, a calm contrast to the weight of her mission. Humanity had been granted its first official diplomatic audience with the Zarkon Collective, a moment that would define their place in the galactic community. The Zarkon were not just another alien species, they were a centuries-old federation that had dominated interstellar politics for generations, viewing emerging civilizations with a mixture of curiosity and condescension. Elena understood the stakes. Earth had been watching, learning, and preparing for this moment. The technological advancements made in the past decade were carefully concealed, a strategic reserve that few outside Earth's most classified circles knew about. Her role was not just to represent her planet, but to challenge the preconceived notions about humanity's capabilities. The station loomed ahead, a massive construct of intersecting rings and crystalline spires that seemed to pulse with an inner light. Alien engineering at its most elaborate, designed to intimidate and impress. Elena allowed herself a slight smile. Impressions could be carefully managed. As the shuttle docked, she adjusted her diplomatic attire, a smart fabric suit that shifted subtly between deep navy and graphite, embedded with quantum-encrypted communication threads. Nothing was accidental in her presentation. Every detail was a carefully considered statement. The reception chamber was a marvel of alien architecture. Walls that seemed to breathe with iridescent energy, gravity modulated to create a sense of disorientation for those unfamiliar with advanced spatial manipulation. Representatives from dozens of alien species filled the circular chamber, their varied forms a testament to the diversity of the Zarkon Collective. Kaldar Vex, the primary diplomatic arbiter of the Zarkon, approached Elena. His crystalline exoskeleton refracted light in complex patterns, a biological display of emotional states that humans were still learning to interpret. His voice emerged not as sound, but as a direct neural transmission. Humanity's representative, the transmission carried a tone of clinical assessment. You arrive at a pivotal moment for potential galactic integration. Elena met his gaze directly. We come to engage, not to be evaluated, she responded, her neural link translator converting her words into the precise frequency of Zarkon communication. The chamber fell silent. Such directness was unprecedented. Kaldar Vex's crystalline structure momentarily flickered, a sign of surprise that did not go unnoticed by the other delegates. Humans were supposed to be deferential, eager to prove themselves. This representative was different. Little did they know, Dr. Elena Rodriguez carried with her the first prototype of a quantum communication technology that would fundamentally alter the balance of power, a secret that would soon reshape everything they understood about humanity's potential. The diplomatic dance was about to begin, and humanity was no longer playing by the old rules. Technological revelation. The Zarkon Research Complex hummed with an anticipatory silence. Dr. Marcus Chen stood before a holographic display, his fingers dancing across quantum-reactive interfaces that seemed to breathe with potential. What the alien scientists didn't realize was that the demonstration about to unfold would fundamentally challenge everything they understood about technological development. Earth's quantum communication prototype, codenamed Nexus, represented a breakthrough that defied conventional understanding. Unlike traditional communication systems that relied on electromagnetic waves or quantum entanglement, Nexus could transmit complex information instantaneously across unprecedented distances, with zero signal degradation. "Observe," Marcus said, his voice calm and precise. The holographic display split into multiple dimensions, showing simultaneously a communication network that's spanning solar systems. Where alien technologies required massive relay stations and complex routing, Nexus created intricate, instantaneous pathways that seemed to fold space itself. Zarkon lead researcher Krelnak approached, her multi-jointed appendages trembling with a mixture of scientific curiosity and barely concealed skepticism. Impossible, she transmitted neurally. No emerging civilization can achieve such technological complexity. Marcus smiled. Underestimation had always been humanity's unexpected advantage. With a subtle gesture, he initiated a complex data transmission. Simultaneously, identical data appeared on screens light years apart, instantaneously, without any perceivable delay. The implications were staggering. This wasn't just a communication breakthrough, it was a fundamental reimagining of information transfer. The Zarkon researchers fell silent. Their centuries of technological superiority suddenly felt fragile, challenged by a species they had dismissed as primitive. What humanity had achieved was more than a technological marvel. It was a declaration, a quiet, devastating statement that humanity was not just another species to be categorized and controlled, but a force capable of revolutionary innovation. The galaxy was about to change. And humanity was leading that change. The turning point. The Meridian colonies, humanity's most distant settlement, faced an unprecedented threat. The Galactic Imperium, a militant faction within the Galactic Coalition, had targeted the human outpost with a precision that suggested deeper motivations than simple territorial expansion. Intelligence reports painted a grim picture. 3 colony ships had gone dark, their last transmissions revealing an aggressive energy signature unlike any known alien weapon system. Dr. Elena Rodriguez and her strategic team gathered in Earth Central Command, holographic displays flickering with real-time data streams. "They're testing our response," Commander Jacob Reynolds muttered, his fingers tracing potential conflict scenarios. "This isn't just an attack. It's a calculated provocation." The colony's defense grid was unconventional, adaptive technological system that Marcus Chen had personally designed. Where traditional defensive technologies relied on static shield generators, this system could dynamically reconfigure its quantum resonance barriers, anticipating and neutralizing incoming threats before they could even be fully initiated. As the first Galactic assault ships approached the Meridian perimeter, something extraordinary happened. Instead of traditional defensive maneuvers, the colony's systems began to not just defend, but actively counterattack. Quantum-entangled drone networks emerged from seemingly impossible angles, their targeting systems so advanced they appeared to predict enemy movements before they occurred. The Galactic fleet, expecting a straightforward engagement, found themselves confronted by a defense mechanism that seemed almost prescient. Entire squadrons were systematically dismantled, not through overwhelming firepower, but through surgical, near-impossible precision. Elena watched the engagement with a calm that belied the momentous nature of what was unfolding. This was more than a defensive action. This was a statement, a clear demonstration that humanity's technological capabilities far exceeded what the galactic powers had assumed. "They wanted to test our limits," she transmitted to the diplomatic corps. "Now they'll learn exactly what those limits are." The message was clear: humanity would not be intimidated. Humanity would not be controlled. And humanity was prepared to defend its place in the galaxy by any means necessary. Galactic confrontation. The Galactic Council chambers erupted in controlled chaos. Holographic displays showed the devastating aftermath of the Meridian engagement, the Galactic fleet reduced to floating debris, humanity's defensive capabilities exposed in shocking clarity. Kaldar Vex, the Zarkon diplomatic arbiter, stood at the center of the storm. His crystalline form vibrated with barely contained tension. "Humanity has violated multiple interstellar protocols," he transmitted, his neural communication cutting through the chamber's charged atmosphere. "The level of technological intervention demonstrates a clear threat to galactic stability." Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood her ground. Behind her, a holographic representation of human diplomatic and military leadership formed a silent, unified front. Her response was measured, each word calculated for maximum impact. "Violation," she challenged. "We defended a civilian colony against unprovoked aggression. The Galactic initiated hostile action. We merely responded with the most efficient means available." The chamber fell silent. Representatives from dozens of alien civilizations studied the human delegation, no longer with condescension, but with a growing sense of uncertainty. Marcus Chen's quantum communication networks had already transformed the information landscape. The Nexus system allowed humanity to process and transmit intelligence faster than any known civilization. Military strategists realized they were witnessing something unprecedented, a species that could potentially outmaneuver entire fleet systems through technological superiority. Commander Jacob Reynolds stepped forward, his presentation revealing detailed analyses of the Meridian defense. Each slide demonstrated not just defensive capabilities, but a level of strategic thinking that suggested humanity's technological leap was no accident. "We did not seek this conflict," Reynolds stated. "But we are prepared to defend our people by any means necessary." The unspoken message was clear: humanity was no longer asking for a place at the galactic table. They were claiming it. As tension mounted, one thing became abundantly clear: the galaxy's power dynamics had fundamentally shifted. And humanity was at the epicenter of that transformation. Paradigm shift. The decision came unexpectedly. After weeks of intense negotiations, deliberations, and barely contained tensions, the Galactic Council reached a consensus that would reshape interstellar relations forever. Humanity would be granted full diplomatic status, not as a provisional member, but as a fully recognized power with complete sovereignty and representation. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood before the council, the weight of the moment etched into her expression. The crystalline chamber seemed to pulse with an almost electrical anticipation. Behind her, the holographic representations of Earth's leadership, scientists, diplomats, military strategists, stood as a silent testament to humanity's collective resolve. "This is not a concession," Kaldar Vex transmitted, his neural communication carrying a tone that was part respect, part acknowledgement of a fundamental shift. "This is a recognition of potential." Marcus Chen's quantum communication networks had already transformed the information landscape. The Nexus system had demonstrated capabilities that went beyond mere technological achievement. It represented a new paradigm of interstellar communication and strategic understanding. The implications were profound. Humanity was no longer an emerging civilization to be studied or controlled. They were now a recognized force, capable of defending their interests, advancing technological boundaries, and challenging established galactic power structures. Commander Jacob Reynolds, standing beside Elena, understood the deeper significance. This wasn't just a diplomatic victory. This was a moment that would be recorded in the annals of human and galactic history, the point where humanity definitively proved its place among the stars. As the council session concluded, Elena caught a glimpse of the future. Not a future of conflict, but of potential. Humanity had not conquered through military might, but through innovation, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to its own potential. The galaxy would never be the same. And humanity had just begun its journey.